And welcome to the City of Helena Administrative Meeting, January 4th, 2022, 4 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll, please?
I apologize. Is City Attorney Doctor attending today?
No, she's on vacation.
Gotcha. So
Mexico.
Interim Manager Burton,
Here.
Commissioner Dean,
Here.
Commissioner Logan,
Here.
Commissioner Shirtliff,
Here.
Mayor Collins,
Here.
and Mayor Collins, I do believe that Commissioner Reed might be a couple of minutes late today.
Roger that. Welcome and thank you for participating. It seems blurrier and blurrier every day, so my eyes getting bad.
Looks
One of
clear
the
to
two.
me.
I'm always amazed.
Oh, you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Welcome and thank you for participating in the City of Helena City Commission Administrative Meeting. We are pleased to be able to provide this alternative meeting format in the city's effort to broaden public participation. Please be patient as we may experience technical difficulties during the meeting. We welcome your public commentary. Please read the following tips and guidelines for the app usage and your participation. Commissioners, you have any comments, questions before we move to the next item?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. A couple things. I'll take the easy one first.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I visited with Jim Cairns from CMS, Communication and Management Services, about our city manager recruitment process. I talked to him this morning. Sounds like we should be getting an update toward the end of the week or early next week. So hopefully, if we get that, it'd be nice to be able to have it to where we can share it with the public as well on Monday night. So the second thing is sort of a New Year's, maybe not resolution, but something to think about. And I just share this. It's something to think about. So last week, Nolan Lister from the Independent Record called and wanted to do a story on sidewalks. And I was happy to oblige. I'm not particularly the sidewalk expert, but I did review the Sidewalk Summit on YouTube to get myself prepped for it, but also had Chris Cooey, the Deputy Director from Transportation, there to kind of keep the facts straight, But as I was talking to Nolan, he and I got to talking, and I think maybe we've talked about it to some degree, but there's maybe a tendency to talk about an issue like this sort of in isolation. And I think we might be at a point, and this is, again, just something to think about. We hear a lot about a lot of need. In this case, sidewalks. There's great need out there for that infrastructure. But we don't talk so much in context of all the other need that we hear about. And if you think back to the last year, I put together kind of a short list. And I won't go into detail on any of them. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. Police staffing relative to demand that the 911 system puts on them. The need for a third fire station and fire department personnel's challenges staffing wise with the 911 system and keeping up with that. Human Resources has presented to us the study that's upcoming about a competitive pay plan that we should be hearing about, a study that we should be hearing about toward the budget season. And if you think back to the budget season last year, all of the capital needs that internally exist, and that continued on, we heard about that on through ARPA, the discussions there. And the list continues on: affordable housing, homelessness, water, wastewater, waste reduction. We've got the solid waste master plan ahead of us in a couple of years. Should be completed maybe a year, 2 years. Streets, and then sidewalks, and I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. But I think we're at the point where we need to probably, instead of talking about each of these individually, maybe we need to talk about them sort of collectively, because clearly we can't do them all. And so we've got to start, I think, and again, I don't want discussion here or direction or anything like that. But I think we've got to start thinking about prioritization of all of those needs that we've been hearing about just in the last year or two. And with that, sorry to be the wet blanket on a new year, but I think I don't know whether this finds itself in a strategic series of strategic planning sessions or work sessions or how it manifests itself, but there's a lot of need out there, and in order for us to start tackling them, I think we probably ought to start prioritizing, and in conjunction with the public as well, because they're, ultimately we're going to probably turn to them to help finance it. So, what is it they want as a community? So anyway, something to think about.
Okay,
Thanks for your time.
you bet. Any other commissioners?
Mr. Mayor, couple comments. First, comment on Commissioner Logan's comments, then I have one thing to add. I don't think it's a wet blanket. It's not like you're being wet blanket by bringing it up. It's consistent with, I think, some of the conversations we've already been having. We just had this conversation yesterday in the fire department strategic planning committee about what this looks like moving forward and how we kind of pair these discussions around the budget. With the police department staffing study coming, the market-based pay study coming, all of us having a better idea as to where we actually are, what our rates cover and what they don't cover. So I think that this year is really a good opportunity and kind of the culmination of, I would say, like a year and a half's time worth of work, where we've just been trying to get our bearings as to where the city actually is and where we're falling behind. So I think that it's very warranted. The topic I just wanted to briefly bring up, and I don't know if this came up at all in the city manager's report or not, but over the break we got a few emails about the Memorial Park rink. And if you drove by at all over the last few weeks, it's been very busy. I still believe that we really need to make some significant improvements to the facility, and I think it just underscores it by the fact that we cannot have the warming hut open because it's not safe, and have had to resort to porta potties because the bathroom facilities are not available. There's a lot of really good models around the state and in the entire region about how to do this well. I think we should use them. I think this is more than just an ice skating rink. I think probably everyone here has, memories either growing up or in the last,
I do.
having your kids growing up skating. Sure, your kids skate.
We can change that.
Yeah, we'll get Bliss out there on some skates.
There you go.
But it's one of those activities that every kid of any socioeconomic background can participate in the wintertime. Skiing is very expensive, and if you can't ski or don't have the resources to ski, ice skating and sledding are really your only two options for outdoor activities. We have a huge mental health crisis within the population of young people, not just in the state, but in the Helena community. And I think that this is more than just having a place where kids can skate throughout the entire season, but really an opportunity to build community and give them an opportunity to connect with their peers outside of school. Christmas time is always the hardest time for kids who experience a lot of challenges, and I think having a place for them to go is really imperative. So I would like to potentially during our next ARPA discussion. But I think that we really should be having a conversation about that city infrastructure and ensuring that it's up to par for our community use.
Thank you. Any others? Yes, please, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Apologies for being late. You were very punctual today. I would just like to say I appreciate the Helena Police Department and their work to help enforce the new 15-mile-an-hour speed zone outside Jefferson. And I know there've been comments from parents from other schools, and I understand it's a challenge because there's a lot of schools and a lot of speed zones, but there's been a lot of very positive feedback from people. It is a new 15-mile-an-hour zone, so people have to learn. But I have observed myself many people being pulled over. Hopefully it will work. So thank you for your efforts there.
Any others?
So were you pulled over?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Mr.
Commissioner.
Mayor, thank you very much. Happy New Year. It's good to be here. Again, Commissioner Logan, I echo the sentiments of Commissioner Dean. It's not a wet blanket. I think these are issues that we're hearing more and more of. It feels like it's kind of piling up, from because the next year for our budget cycle, we won't have the luxury of worrying about having the luxury of ARPA dollars. And so this will be something that we have to kind of prioritize even more so. I've had some conversations as well with folks over some of these issues, whether it's email, phone calls, comments you see online. But I appreciate you bringing those up. I'm in agreement with that. Yeah, and also to Commissioner Dean, I agree with the ice skating rink. Seen those calls and emails. And I had a good chat with Manager Burton about it, about the situation we had over there. And I floated the idea of, well, why don't we just, until it's fixed, get rid of the fees, say it's on us, to skate here. Because I think that's part of the benefit of paying those fees. But on another note, I'd like to thank Police Chief Petty for being there a couple of weeks ago when some of the staff, myself, took the MPAT test out at the Montana Law Enforcement Academy.
And failed it.
And we broke records. I think Madam Clerk and others, we actually had Danae with us, our city attorney, one of her deputies, Madam Clerk in one of her deputies, and a county attorney deputy. And so, and myself, and I think we had Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we ended up having a good time there. So thank you very much for your time, and Corporal Petty's time as well. So thank you for that. That's it for me.
Thank you. Shall we move on then? Yes, thanks. Recommendations from Helena Citizens Council. Representative Perry, are you available?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Happy New Year to you. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This is Nancy.
Nancy, I can see that you're talking, but I actually can't hear you. Give me just a
Really?
moment.
Oh, I unmuted myself. Can you hear me now? Darn. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Is it any better?
Nancy, I'm going to ask you to just wait a moment, and I'm going to ask our facilities superintendent to come in and see if he can check the mics.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if we could come back to Ms. Perry.
You bet. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. With your permission, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Campbell to bring the commission up to speed on the settlement for the fire apparatus that caught fire.
Okay.
Just try to get some further direction based upon what we know now with the insurance settlement and the allocation part.
Okay. You have the floor, Chief.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, good afternoon.
Good
I've
afternoon.
got some information to share from Matt Heidinger, liability property claim adjuster from MMIA. MMIA hired an independent adjuster that specialized in fire equipment.
to investigate the circumstance with our Type 6 engine that suffered a fire this summer at the Matt Staff fire. In brief, they say that low miles on the vehicle and lack of wear and tear appears that it was purely mechanical in nature why it failed. In part bring that up because firefighters have a reputation of being hard on things, and I just like to emphasize that this wasn't our fault. But the outcome of that then is that they have opted to replace the chassis for the vehicle, and they'll put the pump and the tank and the firefighting componentry on a new chassis, which should then bring the fire department whole, minus the deductible for the claim. I know that may influence then some of the conversation around how the ARP allocation occurred to replace that vehicle, but I wanted to bring this to your attention.
What's that deductible?
11,000, I believe.
You know what?
11,500.
Better that than 200,000.
Right.
I'll take it.
Okay. Are you done, manager?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions for manager?
Mr. Mayor,
Please, go
so
ahead.
relative to that item, that would come up at a future ARPA discussion.
Mayor,
As to how to adjust.
Commissioner, I believe that would be the appropriate discussion. And we have the applicants out that, or the applications out for the group that you authorized. And I think we'll time that discussion when we come back. I don't think it'll be the next meeting, but probably toward the end of the month, beginning of next month.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Thank you. Are you done, manager?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can we attempt to try Ms. Perry again?
Representative Perry, can you hear me? If you can, you have the floor.
I sure can hear you. Can you hear me?
It will come back to you.
Dang.
Department reports. A, golf fee increase. Parks and Open Land Director, Mr. Smith, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Actually, Sheila is going to begin the discussion. Director Danielson.
Thank you, Director Smith. So tonight we have before the commission an introduction to some work that we've been doing, not only with myself, the Parks Director, the Parks team, as well as the Golf Advisory Board, to put together a financial review for the commission to look at for the Golf Fund. And that is in your packet. We have also taken a look at where we might end the year for fiscal 23 for the Golf Fund, as well as projecting into 24 a draft budget that we believe is a good solid budget by looking at our staffing models. I sat with several golf teams to look at their staffing models, their temporary staffing needs, to come to a service level that they feel will meet the residents and the golf users' needs. And with that, looked at cost recovery and projected some golf rate increases that would help to recover the costs of the operations of the golf course, palatable to the golf course users, and then also be able to reduce some of this contribution from the general fund over to the golf fund. These fees are about 13% across the board for most of the golf fees. They're also projecting some golf simulator revenue increases because we've had an opportunity to fix both the simulators, and I'll let the golf folks speak more of that. And our Todd Fritter at the golf course is looking and working at the cost of service for the restaurant fees, and making sure that we have adequate cost recovery with the charges that we have it there. And so in your packet is the golf financial review, and then a proposed draft budget for fiscal '24, an exhibit of the proposed golf fees that the Parks Director has discussed with the advisory committee and gotten their feedback on that. And just through looking at the golf financial overview, there's also some trend reports in there, those trend graphs in there that show that the golf course operations are recovering to pre-pandemic levels at this point, and they're doing well. And I really have to commend Todd Furter and Stephen Link for their management of the golf course over the last year. They really introduced a lot of new things and are doing such a great job. We're very pleased with how things are turning around at the golf course. So at the end of this, I'm part of this agenda. I'll turn it over to Director Smith to talk about some of the operations at the golf course, some of the changes that they've made. He'll have Todd Furter, the operations manager at the golf course speak, as well as Art Pembroke. Did I spell your name last year?
Yeah.
Okay. From the Golf Advisory Board speak to the commission. And then at the very end, we're looking for the commission's recommendation to bring consensus, to bring the golf fee increases to the January 9th commission meeting as a resolution of intention to start the public process of increasing the rates of the golf course. And so with that, I'll pass it to Director Smith, if it pleases the mayor.
Director Smith, you have the floor.
All right, Mayor, Commissioners. We put a lot of time, a lot of hard work into narrowing down fee increases go where, because as Director Danielson suggested, there's approximately a 13% increase, but it wasn't just 13% across the board. And our golf pro and operations manager, Todd Fitter, will be speaking in a moment to that subject. As it relates to the market analysis and the research that was done to get the fees to where they are. Because as we all know, the expenses of everything are going up. The goal, and we were able to achieve the goal with this draft budget, was to show a 25% reduction in the general fund subsidies. And the draft budget you have before you reflects that. So before I pass the baton over to Todd, I'd like to thank Finance Director Danielson. She's probably getting tired of seeing me walking around unannounced. And Todd Fitterer, our head golf pro operations manager, and Steve Link, our superintendent, have just done a really good job in a short period of time to get to where we are. So with your permission, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce our head golf pro, Todd Fitterer.
You have the floor.
Thank
Todd.
you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. If I ramble, I'm very passionate about what I do.
That's
I'm
good.
excited about the golf course and what we've accomplished. And we did a pretty extensive market analysis as far as talking about course usage. How much does a golf course get used? We're a very, very busy public facility. Very difficult to get on, get a lot of use. But looking at our rates, comparing our rates to other facilities around the state, and also just looking at our course conditions. Course conditions makes a huge, huge difference on the golf course. We have great golf course conditions. Our golf course is one of the top public facilities in the state, if not the top public facility in the state. Hard part for us is our operating costs are increasing substantially. Every day it seems like they go up. Perfect example is Steve likes to throw this example out for everybody. Just one filter for a mower that we use out there used to cost us $16. Okay, we now pay $60, and that's for one filter. We have a lot of mowers. We got a lot of golf carts. We got a lot of stuff. So we've done this analysis and we've come up with our recommendations. One of the things that was approved for us to do this last, just this fall, was improve our simulators. Our simulators lacked well, they were all different. They all reacted different. They weren't all on the same platform. We just did that upgrade 2 weeks prior to Christmas. And for the first time today, was the first time we only had 1 hour available. All three simulators.
Oh, wow.
All consistently, the restaurants, been packed. So we're generating more revenue into the facility just by having updated simulators that operate properly. So I see a lot of good things happening. We're trending the right direction. Unfortunately, our expenses are trending that way too. They're all going up. So we did do a lot of research into this presentation, and hopefully it goes well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yes, please.
introduce a PERT member from the chair of the Golf Advisory.
Before Art started, when I saw you sitting there, I thought you had come out of retirement. What's this about?
I'm still working on it.
You
Mayor
have to-
Commission, it's really a treat to be before you again. It's been a while. I am here today as a chairperson representative for the Golf Advisory Board. I wanted to come and truly I wanted to be the cheerleader for this. Who's going to cheerlead about a 13% rate increase? The reality is with the work that your staff has done and provided us the details, financial information, the reality that each of us sees when we go to the grocery store, the gas pump, wherever, we know things have got to change. We know we've got to bring in additional revenue, but we need to do it in a way that we can still ensure that we keep probably one of the best, if not the best quality golf course experience in the state for a public course. We looked at it, and at the end of the day, we were all pretty much on board. The advisory board voted, endorsed the rate increases. I've already had people calling me at home. Gosh, but John, it costs $6 for a dozen eggs now. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
We understand it. We are going to look forward to working even closer with the staff through this next year. I got to tell you, I've been impressed with Todd, Steve, Doug, the folks in this operation. I've been on the board for a number of years. I've golfed at Bill Roberts since the early 70s. I learned there. They're doing a great job. One of the things that people tend to forget, we talk about just the golf. I live right across the street, across Benton from it. I see out there all year long cross-country meets, high school, college golf meets. I'm watching every day these people on the cross-country seas going up and back, some slow, some fast. I don't see them fall. I would. The state fall tournaments that are held there, the charity tournaments that are there, $110,000 generated for the disabled veterans this past year for that tournament that the golf course and their staff helped put on. You've got a great asset. I see people from the neighborhood walking up to Muni's now for lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
Now that it's stabilized, it's open, we're getting it there. Lest we forget, Muni's was barely opening its doors when we got hit by COVID. And to see what it's been able to do in comparison to some of our other less fortunate businesses around has been phenomenal. It's a valuable asset to the city. I say the golf course is pro shop. It is Muni's. They're so symbiotic. I guess with that, I just want to stress, I know we're not done looking at rate increases. I know we've got to come up with creative ways to keep funding things as prices go up. I think we're doing a wonderful job at your staff level of looking at this. Once again, I come here today to sort of champion the rate increase and say it's high, and I'm hoping none of you get the joy of some other citizen calling you up and saying, are you crazy? We've looked at it. It's not easy. None of us like to pay more, but this is a start of getting things back in the right direction. So that's truly all I had today.
Thank you, Mr. Penbrook. Are you done with your,
I am completely finished, Mr. Mayor.
okay, and so I want to encourage this commission to meet me at Muni's for lunch sometime. So I don't think I've seen much of us, so we need to start going down and spending our little coppers instead of going to McDonald's. Guys, Muni's have healthy food down there. Okay, go ahead.
Question. Thank you. Mr. Mayor. Thank you all for the presentation and the information. It's helpful to hear the charts are great. I do have one question on the Muni's restaurant operating revenue and expenses trend. I was delighted to see the lines cross and FY24 projected. It's great to see. The one question I had is, does the general fund transfer, how does it factor in here? Is it included at all, or is it not part of that picture, the graph on page 11?
Mayor, Commissioner Reed, so this particular graph with munis does not include the debt service.
Okay, so
It's just operations.
okay, that's helpful. Thank you. And again, I appreciate all the work that's gone into the analysis, of the increase, and I'm really happy to see the operating, the revenue being over expenses. It's very encouraging. And I did have a chance to speak with Director Smith a bit about some of the things going on at Muni's. And for the benefit of the public, if you wouldn't mind, Director Smith, you told me about different events and things. I didn't have any idea those things were going on. So maybe if you could tell us a bit about what Muni's is doing in addition to just, people can stop by for lunch. I think that would be great.
Well, I can speak to it, and Todd may be able to add something.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor, Commission.
Please.
The fact that the facility of Muni's is fully staffed and operational and can have consistent hours, and the people are starting to trust the hours, and the word of mouth is spreading throughout the community. The food is fabulous, the pricing is good. But adding those simulators, those people are right by Muni's, and they eat food and they drink beers and they play golf in the simulators. We've got the cross-country skiers that are coming into the Muni's to eat now, and they had not done that in the past. Of course, you have to be open and staffed, which we are fully now open and staffed. And the word is spreading. People are talking about it. We're catering our internal meetings. They have a pinochle night, a dozen women, half of them eat, all of them have a drink or two. We have a cribbage night. There's, Tom, how many parties did you book over Christmas?
Last year in the month of December, that was my first month. We had 0 parties. And a party would consist of anyone that calls in and books. So ranging between 12 people, 20 people, or 60 to 70 people. Last year we had 0. This year we had 20.
This year?
This year, yeah.
January?
No, in December.
Oh,
So we had 20 little parties, people booking the back room for a business meeting along with lunch. They get 2 hours back there. We had one group come in and close the whole facility. They paid for both simulators,
Oh,
closed
wow.
the whole facility. We had a nice food spread for them. We're starting to see more people attracted to that because we can offer something that they can't get other places. And it's nice to see. And we're getting a lot of phone calls. Right now, we've got, we didn't have anything booked in the month of January. We got 5 events now booked in January for Muni's restaurant. So, yes, we have been doing, and we've tried several different methods with cross country. We called them, talked to them about it. Can you get the word out? They sent out some information. They've tried before, little flyers on the cards to get people to come eat. But until you have those consistent hours, so people can actually see that, and then they start popping in, and then they start enjoying it consistently. Now we're going to see that place get used more. And I got to commend my staff. Kelsey Carter's my food and beverage manager. She's done a great job for us.
Are you done, Commissioner? Any others? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Couple questions. So When was the last rate increase, just out of curiosity?
Well, when I first started, they had in the month of December, it was a 2% rate increase. So it was really nominal. That was, other than that, I don't know. the answer to that.
Thanks. And the second question, so how do you go about informing the public or the users of the golf course that this is potentially coming, or have you begun that effort? I'm glad to hear that golf advisory board's fully informed and supportive of this. But of course, there are going to be a lot of
With the
users.
golf community, what we've done with the people that, especially the pass holders that are there, is we've put it out on Facebook, we've put it out on other social media avenues. We've contacted the Men's Association, had them send out a mass email, the Ladies Association send out a mass email. And then we're building our database currently right now with emails so that we can shoot that out too. But as soon as, if we do have a rate increase, we'll publicly post it in the paper.
Then maybe,
Other areas.
thank you. Maybe one more question for the manager. So potentially a resolution of intention Monday night, and then it would be 30 days for the final resolution. Is that accurate? So there'd be an additional opportunity for public input.
Mayor, Commissioner, that's correct, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to thank you all for all the work on this, because this is not what the conversation was even 2 years ago. And I'm really excited to see it moving in the right direction, and to be fully staffed is pretty impressive. Most restaurants and event type of places in town are still not fully staffed and are still having a really hard time. So congratulations on that accomplishment. I'm really excited to see the continual reduction of the 25%. I think that the commission made a commitment in 2017 when that happened, and I mean, we obviously had an obligation to make sure that bond was paid. And so it wasn't necessarily popular with some folks, but I think that it just goes to show, we can't do much else with that property as it is, and it's used year round. And I think that it's very much heading in the right direction. So really appreciate all the work, 'cause I know it's been a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Any others? Well, I want to re-echo my thanks also, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Yes,
Mayor,
Director
so,
Jennison.
do we have consensus from the commission to bring the resolution of intention?
I'm fine with it. Commissioners?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do we have any public comments on this topic?
Mr. Mayor, I see no hands raised and I've received no written public comment.
Do we have Ms. Terry available?
Yeah, if I may, I'm hoping that I've figured out the settings, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Nancy if she can try a third time.
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This is Nancy Perry from ATC District 2. Why am I hearing an echo?
I don't know.
Are you hearing?
Yes, we can hear you.
But can you hear the echo?
It's thin, but it's all right. We can understand you.
All right, thank you very much. Our last meeting was on November 30th. We didn't meet in December, and our next meeting is January 25th. And at our last meeting, a Helena resident discussed her difficulties finding housing in her price range. So she was afraid that she had a couple weeks and she was going to be homeless. She's dealing with health and financial issues, and she asked what HCC could do to help her. Several HCC members and also Commissioner Logan, who happened to be attending our meeting, suggested several nonprofits and legal resources she could explore. We were really appreciative that you were there, Commissioner Logan. After the meeting, our coordinator, Peggy Benkelman, has emailed the resident with all kinds of contact information that Commissioner Logan and the other members had supplied and sent her that. But her plight reminded me how very scary it would be to be homeless in Helena in the wintertime. We heard another resident speak about what he said was the bad drainage and poor conditions at the tennis courts. And I don't think he's doing playing a whole lot of tennis right now. But anyway, the HCC heard a member volunteered to keep track of the work the Parks Department is doing once it warms up to repair and update the courts, and we'll get back to that fellow. We heard a presentation from representatives of CMS describing the process of hiring the new city manager, and we had lots of questions for him. We also selected a nominating committee to nominate officers for next year. We hold our officers for 1 year at a time. And then one piece of new business that we're going to start working on, we decided to explore the effect that the presence of Airbnbs is having on our districts. We're going to explore whatever contributions they are having possibly to the housing shortage. And if we find anything that looks interesting, we'll send you folks a recommendation. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Ms. Bear. Any comments or questions from Ms. Bear? Thank you, Representative Bear.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, is there anyone from the public wishes to address the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment on that.
Thank you. Before we go, I just want to thank the commissioners for being so responsive today when I called you about your boards and committees, because Danae was on my back for that. So I had to get on your back for that. So I thank you for being responsive. Do you have any other comments from the commission? If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.